Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 6th May 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see the quote. So this quote is given by Gautam Buddha. So he says, with our thoughts, we make the world. Okay. So we make the world with our thoughts. So thoughts are very important. So now let us try to see first topic. It is regarding termination rights in USA. So yesterday I said that in yesterday's lecture I said that we are going to see this topic tomorrow, right? So there is one editorial which appeared in this today's newspaper regarding this termination rights of USA. So here title says that a leaked draft, termination rights and the politics. So now we are going to see this topic in a very great detail. So this will be important from GS paper to under international relations, and even we can cover these topics under GS paper 2 under governance topic as well. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see why this abortion or termination rights of USA is in news, because what happened, something unexpected thing that happened. Okay, so a draft which made it leaked of the court's decision regarding this abortion law, and this draft which mainly indicating that majority of the justices might have just about agreed to overturn this 1973 landmark judgment in this Roe versus Wade. Okay, so it mainly legalized abortion in India. In America. So here you need to know about two important cases. That is, first one is 1973 case of this Roe versus Wade. So in this case, especially in America, that led to legalization of abortions. So now let us try to see what is the debate which is going on in USA regarding this abortion rights. So Roe versus Wade 1973 ruling, which mainly gave women in USA it is an absolute right to go for abortion, and this is an absolute right when within 3 months, that is in the first trimester, if they want to go for abortion, they can go for abortion. It is an absolute right which is mainly given to the women of America regarding this termination of their pregnancy. Okay, and they are also having some limited rights in the second trimester, and nearly half of the US women of reproductive age, that is between 18 to 49 years, or some 36 million, they could lose abortion access if Roe is overruled. So what is the context? What is the context here? So in this Roe versus Wade case, so here it gave absolute right for women of USA to go for termination of their pregnancy, and that is within first trimester. In the second trimester, they will be having very limited rights. But when we are going for overruling of this judgment of this Roe, then there are about 36 million women of reproductive age, that is from 18 to 49 years are present in USA. So their rights will be compromised, right? So in 2021, nearly 600 abortions or mainly abortion restrictions which mainly introduced nationwide in US, and out of them 90 enacted into law. So now let us try to talk about, would abortion become illegal everywhere? No, not at all. So individual states in the country would decide whether and when abortions would be legal. Okay, so after second trimester, if we are going for abortion, it will be very much harmful for the health of a mother also, right? So in that case, we will be not going for abortion, right? So we need to take into many important factors into consideration before going to abortion or termination of their pregnancy. So 24 states, they likely to ban this abortion, that is Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana. Okay, so these are 24 states, they are likely going to ban this abortion. So now let us try to see which are the countries which mainly prohibit this abortion. So you have to know this. That is Egypt, Iraq, Philippines, Laos, Senegal, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, Haiti, Dominican Republic. So these are the countries which are mainly prohibiting this abortion. And 3 countries which mainly abortion only to save the life of the mother here includes Nigeria, Brazil and Mexico, Venezuela, Iran, Afghanistan and Myanmar. So these are the some important facts. So if we're talking about this case, that is Roe versus Wade case of 1973. So in this case, US Supreme Court, which mainly gave a landmark judgment, it mainly protects the rights of women's liberty. Okay, it mainly protects especially pregnant women's liberty, and they will be having liberty to choose to have an abortion without excessive government restriction. So it mainly struck down the laws which mainly made abortion illegal in several states, and they said they can go for abortion up to like second trimester, but in second trimester they will be having some restrictions. So we're talking about what is this Planned Parenthood versus Casey case of 1992. So in this case, Supreme Court revisited and modified its ruling in Roe versus Wade judgment. So court reaffirmed that women's right to choose to have an abortion is constitutionally protected. So however, it mainly rejected this Roe's trimester framework in the favor of fetal viability. So here in this judgment, that is Planned Parenthood versus Casey case of 1992, so there was one concept that mainly come into picture, that is fetal viability. So what is the meaning of this fetal viability? So fetal viability means nothing but the time after which fetus can survive outside the woman's womb. Okay, so this is called as fetal viability. So now what happened, there is some confusion regarding this fetal viability. So fetal viability, it is around 27 weeks. That means, so if you are going for delivery after 7 months or during 7 months means, so yes, fetal have an ability to survive outside the womb of mother. So now this experts now agree that advance in medicines are happened, and we have brought threshold down to 23 or 24 weeks, that is 6 months or little less of 6 months. Yes, if you are going for delivery, yes, there is high chance of that baby, okay, that he or she can survive because of increasing of advancement in medicine. So even in Hyderabad, I saw one case that 5 months premature baby she born, and because of some excessive treatment and because of some excessive care, and finally that girl child had been survived. Okay, so in this way, yes, we can say there is advancement in the medicine is seen here. So in 2018, even in the state of Mississippi, it prohibited abortions after 15 weeks, considerably earlier than this fetal viability and earlier than Roe. So initiating a direct challenge to this 1973 decision. So one state, that is state of Mississippi, which mainly said that yes, we can't go for abortions after 15 weeks. But here fetal viability is 28 weeks, and now the researchers say that it is like 23 to 24 weeks, but it is very much less than this 15 weeks. Okay, so because of this, it is also posing a direct challenge for this 1973's decision. And if you're talking about significance of this move, so it mainly recognized, so this judgment, Roe versus Wade judgment, which mainly recognized the concept of personal liberty. So this concept of this personal liberty, which mainly enshrined in 14th Amendment. Okay, 14th Amendment, which is against government interference and intensely personal decisions. And if you're talking about social and ideological clash over the issue of abortion, here is, so however, it is mainly resulting some social and ideological struggle, that is between Democrats, that is pro-abortion, and as well as Republicans, they are conservative and anti-abortion peoples, that will lead to further polarizing the country's already polarized society and as well as politics. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding Naga peace talks. So number of times we discuss this topic. Again, there is one article in our text and context. Yes, again we have to discuss this. So this article is important regarding GS paper 3 under defense. Under defense, this article is very important. So now let us try to see this topic in very great detail. So why the status of Naga peace talks is in news? So now MHA, that is our Ministry of Home Affairs, it came up with annual report. Ministry of Home Affairs came up with annual report. And in this report, it mainly said that ISAC mobile, that is NSCN IM, okay, so it is mainly involved in 44% of insurgency related incidents in Nagaland. So especially in 2020, here NSCN, that is National Socialistic Council of Nagaland, Isaac Muvaya, it is responsible for 44% of insurgency related incidents in Nagaland. So if you see details, it mainly says that Union government in 2015 signed a framework agreement with this NSCN IM, and they came up with finding of a solution to this Naga political issue. So now, whatever the negotiations we were coming up, they had to be concluded. They didn't conclude it. So why did this Naga insurgency began? So we need to go back to our British period. Okay, to understand this, why this Naga insurgency began, so you have to go back to our history, that is during our Britishers' time. So the term Naga created by British for administrative convenience, and this Naga refers to the group of tribes with similar origins, but they will be having some distinct culture, distinct dialects and as well as customs. So Naga tribes, they are mainly seen in states of Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur and Myanmar. So in these areas we have this Naga people who are residing here. So these Naga people residing in this Naga hills of Assam during the advent of Britishers and annexation of Assam, which happened in 1820. So Nagas did not consider themselves as part of British India. So whenever these Britishers, they adopt a way of governance over these Nagas that involved keeping in the place their traditional way of life, customs and as well as laws, which while putting this British administration at the top. So at that time, once these Britishers, they withdrew, so these Nagas, they started feeling insecurity. So there is increasing of insecurity, which mainly among these Naga tribes, and they had to think about their future and their cultural autonomy after independence. So later on, they mainly having some fear like, so there might be conflict between the people who are present in the plains and as well as this hilly people. Okay, and finally that led to Naga Hill District Tribal Council in 1945. So in 1945 they came up with this Naga Hills District Tribal Council in 1945, and later on they renamed it as Naga National Council of 1946. Okay, and at that time there were some uncertainties that were seen over post-independent future of Nagas, and at that time Naga leader, who was Fizo, he declared independence of Naga on 14th August 1947, that is a day before India's declaration as well. So the underground insurgency began in year 1950s when this Fizo founded this National Federal Government, and also he came up with the armored wing, that is National Federal Army. So later on, here our central government, which mainly came up with some armored forces into this Naga areas, finally it led to curbing of insurgency and imposing of some armored forces Special Powers Act in this area. So Nagas, mainly led by this Fizo, they demanding independent state outside of India, and they boycotted in 1952 and as well as 1957 general elections as well. And some leaders, especially from this organization, they formed their own group to hold discussion with the government, and that led to formation of the state of Nagaland in 1963. But this, however, does not satisfy the important ideas of this NNC and as well as NFG. So from the years onwards, they are mainly coming up with negotiation with the government, and finally they signed this Shillong Accord in 1975. So if we're talking about some more important facts regarding this NSCN, so NSCN, which mainly have two groups, NSCN Kaplang faction, NSCN Isaac Muvaya. So this NSCN Isaac Muvaya mainly demanded mainly for the greater Nagaland, or we can say Nagaland. So this mainly includes the areas which are inhabited by these Nagas in Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam and Manipur. So in these areas, who are the people are there, so they need to come together and form this greater Nagaland or Nagaland. So this is the demand. So nowadays this NSCN IM, which mainly grown to become a most powerful insurgent group, and also they are playing an important role in the creation of smaller groups in the other states as well. So its armored operations mainly intensified along with the illegal activities like, for example, tax extortion, smuggling of weapons, etc. So where do these peace talks stands now? So what is the stand of this peace talks? So in 1997, Government of India got this NSCN to sign a ceasefire agreement, and they started holding talks with these Nagas, okay, and they having the aim of signing this Naga peace accord. So after the ceasefire, there have been over 100 rounds of talks which mainly happened, okay, between these two things. And in 2015, so they came up with signing of this framework agreement. So it is also one of the step towards this actual peace accord, okay, and they came up with signing of this agreement on agreement between these two things, okay. So here this mainly done by this Steve R.N. Ravi. He was appointed as interlocutor of Naga peace talks. And later on, Isaac Muvaya branch, which mainly continued to demand a separate flag and as well as separate constitution for the Nagas. And they are also demanding for creation of Greater Nagaland or Nagalem. So here in this context, Mr. Ravi, however, he denied this claim. So because of this, Mr. Ravi's removal is an interlocutor. He was an interlocutor, but he was removed. And later on, we came with this Intelligence Bureau officer, that is A.K. Mishra was appointed, okay, in this area. So this is about this topic. And now let's try to see next topic. It mainly says that WHO, that is World Health Organization, estimates 4.7 million COVID related deaths in India. So this article is important from your health, which mainly comes in a GS paper too. So if you see context, it mainly says that there were likely 47 lakh deaths directly or indirectly contributing because of this COVID-19 pandemic in years 2020 to 2021. So this is the data according to World Health Organization. So if you see details, it mainly says that they are highest by far for any country to make nearly third of its 15 million such deaths, which are mainly estimated by agency globally. So it is a very highest, and it is a far from the country count. So this is the argument. And apart from that, India official estimate just 4.8 lakh cumulative deaths which are linked to this COVID-19 pandemic. And it also said that the deaths which are going to increase because of increase as well as we can say here 4.8 lakh cumulative deaths had been happened. So this is the data which is given by India, okay. But here WHO says that what are the data it is saying, it is 10 times more than the data which is mainly said by India. So here, minutes after WHO released its estimate, India reiterated its objection to the methodology which mainly used. So what are the methodology which mainly used by WHO, which mainly objected by Indian side? So here this report which mainly says that not only how the impact of pandemic is there, but this report which mainly suggests that more resilient health system or in necessary, and even we need essential health services and we need strong health information system. So in these areas also we need to focus. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding India-France relations. Title says Modi Macron agree to work together to expand relations. So if you see the context, you know that our Prime Minister is on visit to Europe. So because of this, we are also having a meeting with a France president. So this article which mainly showcase about the highlights of that meeting. So two leaders mainly agreed on the blueprint to work together, okay, and to make India-France strategic partnership for the force for good, global good. That means here whatever the things which we are mainly having with France, so that need to be helpful for the world. And if you are talking about joint statement, so India and France, they mainly came up with a joint statement regarding the mutual trust between these two sides, and they are also having some agreements, especially regarding the mobility of students, graduates, professionals and skilled workers, and as well as strengthening of their efforts regarding this, how to combat irregular migration as well. So if it's the location of France, here we have Spain, here we have Germany, here we have Belgium, here we have Luxembourg, Switzerland, Italy, and this is our France, okay. So you have to see the geographical location. And if you're talking about India-France relations, So we need to go back to 1990s. So France was one of the first countries with which India signed this strategic partnership after the end of this Cold War. So after the end of Cold War, we came up with the signing of strategic partnership with France. And France is one of the very few countries to support India's decision to test nuclear weapons in 1998. And next one is France has emerged as India's most reliable partner on issues which are related to this terrorism and as well as Jammu and Kashmir as well. And if we're talking about defense cooperation, so we are having a good level of defense cooperation. For example, we have Exercise Shakti, that is between Army of India and Army of France. Next one is we have Varuna, we have Garuda. Okay, not only this, in the global agenda, we are mainly focusing on climate change, biodiversity, renewable energies, as well as terrorism, cyber security, digital technology, etc. So there have been joint efforts to limit climate change and to develop this international solar alliance. And both countries, they have agreed on a roadmap on cyber security and as well as digital technology. So these are some important things that you have to remember regarding this topic. Now let us try to see next topic is regarding Jogue Falls. So center questions, environmental impact on Jogue Falls project. Here we have to remember this Jogue Falls which is located in Karnataka. So here Karnataka government came up with one developmental projects regarding this Jogue Fall. So now central government is asking some questions regarding, so what about environmental impact when we are going for this developmental projects on this Jogue Falls. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So Karnataka Forest Department, which is very much supportive of Jogue Fall development projects, and it also recommended for the approval of environmental clearance for a 5-star hotel. Okay, for 5-star hotel in this area. So if you see details, it mainly says that Karnataka has submitted a proposal, okay, and this proposal which mainly seeking that 0.8536 hectares of forest land, okay, especially in this Navada, okay, in this Nadavada Talakale, okay, I don't know how to pronounce this name, so please adjust with me. That is Nadavada Talakale. So here Karnataka government which mainly focusing on some developmental projects in this area, okay, so it is also coming up with a 5-star hotel in this PWD guest house. So this hotel which is addition to the development of other facilities in this Jogue Falls area. So because of this, now question is what will be the environmental impact? And if you are talking about Jogue Falls is the second highest plunge waterfall. So plunge means whenever water is coming, so there is a small hole which is mainly seen here at this bottom of this waterfalls. So this plunge waterfalls in India, so it is the second largest plunge waterfalls in India, and which mainly located near Sagara, Karnataka, and it is one of the major tourist destination as well. So this is also called as Gersoppa Falls. So Gersoppa Falls and Jogadda Gundi. So these are some important areas of tourist attraction. And this Jogue Falls is mainly created by this Saravati river. Okay, it is mainly falling from the height of 253 meters. And it making the second largest plunge waterfall in Asia. The first one is Nokalikai Falls with the height of about 335 meters, and it is located in the state of Meghalaya, and it's the first highest waterfall in India in Dudh Sagar waterfall, okay, Goa. So it is the first highest waterfall in India. Okay, the first highest waterfall in India here is Dudh Sagar waterfall, Goa, and it is the second highest plunge waterfall in India. So these are some important things that you have to remember regarding this topic. And now if you see this image, so these are the boats that you can see. Okay, so these boats mainly participate in this Nehru Trophy boat race. So this is very important. And here you can see, you have to see some important facts regarding this Vembanad Lake. So here we have Arabian Sea, this is the Kerala. So here we have this sea, that is Vembanad wetland. So it is famous for the backwaters. It is famous for this backwaters in Kerala. So if we are talking about some facts regarding this Vembanad Lake, it is also known as Vembanad Kayal or Vembanad Kol or Punnamada Lake, okay, and Kochi Lake. So if we are talking about districts of Kerala, it is mainly covering a territory of more than 2033 kilometers square, and this lake, which is mainly the source of 4 rivers, that is Mithali, and as well as Avankovil, Pampa, and as well as Manimala. So it is mainly separated from this Arabian Sea by a narrow stretch of a barrier island. Okay, and this Vallamkali, it is a snake boat race, and this boat race which mainly held every year in the month of August in this Vemanan Lake. In 2002, it was included as a list of wetlands of importance. Okay, and it was also defined by Ramsar Convention. So this is about this topic, and now let us try to see next topic. Title says tea exports dropped 2.4% in first 11 months of financial year 2022. So this article, which is mainly focusing on tea exports. So here you need to know about what are the favorable conditions for this tree plantations, and you have to know about what are the reasons behind this decreasing of exports of tea. So tea exports declined by 2.4% to 184.35 million kg during this April to February period of last fiscal. It is according to data which been released by latest tea board data. And the exports, the value of exports in the first 11 months of 2021 to 2022, which mainly increased marginally to 4,956 crore to 4,933 crore. Okay, with this, so what happened here, the value of this exports, which mean actually 2.4% decreased, that means the value will be also decreased, right? So this is the thing which mainly given here. And if you are talking about details, it mainly says that Commonwealth independent state countries including Russia and Ukraine, they imported about 41.18 million kg, and it is the highest among the overseas destination of Indian tea. But during the period review here, from 46.19 million in year earlier period. So if you compare with the last year, so it was like 46.19 million, and now it is 41.18 million. So with this CIS block, that is Commonwealth Independent State Block, so Russia was the main importer with the shipment of 31.88 million kg of tea in April to February period. Okay, so it was down from 33.65%. Earlier it was 33.65 million kg, and now it is decreased to 31.88 million kg. So if you're talking about other countries which mainly import Indian tea, it is Iran. Iran is also importing large amount of Indian tea, right? So if we're talking about what are the reasons for decreasing of exports, because of shortage of shipping containers and as well as high ocean freight. And if you're talking about what are the important conditions that are necessary for this tea plantation, so tea, as you already, is tropical and subtropical plant, and mainly grows well in moderately hot and humid climates, and ideal temperature is 20 to 30 degrees centigrade, and whenever there is temperature above 35 degrees centigrade or below 10 degrees centigrade, it is very much harmful for that bush. So it requires rainfall of about 150 to 300 centimeters of annual rainfall is also required, and it mainly requires acidic soil without calcium. So if you're talking about yesterday's questions, the first question is, which part of ocean does the typical example of reversal of oceanic currents that can be seen, that is not part of Indian Ocean, so where we can see reversal of this winds that led to monsoon season in India. And next one is equatorial climatic conditions. It is known as latitudinal climate, yes. Low range of temperatures mainly because of equatorial air mass, yes. And there is no seasonality in this region, or there is no distinguished season unlike the other climatic regions, yes. So answer is 1, 2 and 3, that is all the above. So today's questions of the first one is Mediterranean climate. Second question is regarding western margins of continents. Try to read the statements and give me the correct option in the comment box. And now let me make a small announcement. So we in Rathod IAS, we came up with this means answer writing course of 1 year, and we are providing the weekly detailed syllabus, and we also provide you daily one question. We will be giving you evaluation of your answer, and we also provide you 1-to-1 mentorship along with the model answer. This course is very beneficial. Please try to join this course, and registrations will be going to close by May 10th. And next one is our pen drive course. So we are ready to launch this foundational course of 2023, and here we are providing more than 600 hours of classes. So these are very important for your preparation. And next one is, if you want to take individual modules, you can take individual modules like geography, history, ethics, international relations, economy, disaster management, like that. Okay, so if you want to take that courses, you can take that courses. If you want to see the demo videos, you can visit our website. There you can get 3 demo videos, which is free of cost. And if you have any queries, you can call me on this number 8074765513. And now let us see the today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our Hindu PDF. Date is 6th May 2022, and this is Delhi edition. So first article, that is regarding WHO estimates, we discuss this topic. Okay, we discuss this topic. And next one is Supreme Court to study if larger bench should hear this sedition please. So this article, which is mainly talking about sedition. So here you need to know about one important case of 1962, that is Kedarnath versus state of Bihar. So this is very important, and this article is talking about section 124A of IPC. Okay, and this is very important. Already we discussed number of times regarding this topic. So once editorial will come in, we are going to discuss that. And next one is Modi Macron agree to work together to expand relations. This article is important from your international relations, which mainly comes in a GS paper 2. So I discuss this topic. It is regarding India-France relations. And if you see this image, you can see these are the BSF, that is Border Security Force personals. They are mainly checking a tunnel which is mainly found near India-Pakistan border in this Samba district, okay, in Jammu and Kashmir. And actually they are mainly seeing that whether it is mainly used by this terrorists who wanted to disturb this Amarnath Yatra or not. And if you move forward, leave the city page. And here in the city page, you can see one more diagram here. It is regarding a boy scavenges for useful items in the polluted Ganga at ITO in Delhi. So what happened? So actually you know that most of the rivers of India, they are mostly polluted. And if you see this image, you can see a lot of amount of plastic garbage that is mainly seen in this river Yamuna. So river Yamuna, it is one of the sacred river as well. Okay, so now you have to talk about how we can make these type of rivers into sustainable rivers. Okay, so we have to think about those challenges, and as well as what can be the step that can be taken. And if you move forward in the state space, that is an article that is regarding Chok waterfalls. I discuss this topic. And next one is ginger price leaves farmers in distress. So overproduction and as well as this is affecting crop, which mainly led to very low demand and as well as price fall in the market regarding this ginger. And next, if you see this editorial page, I discussed regarding this topic, that is growth retarding inflation. And I also discussed this termination of rights, and there is one article regarding this medical education. So I already discussed this topic in our earlier lectures. And if you move forward in this text and context page, I discussed this topic of Naga peace talks, and it is not much important. And if you see this 10th page, so peace is now permanent in Valley. So this is the thing which mainly said by Lieutenant General, that is D.P. Pandey. So Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey, he mainly said that outgoing general officer commanding, okay, GOC of strategic Srinagar based 15 corps, they mainly questioned the use in the terms of Kashmir problem. So what happened now? They are mainly talking about this Kashmir problem. So Kashmir problem is not a wrong terminology. There was a problem in Kashmir which we along with these people and cross sections of society. So what happened? Kashmir problem, it is not a terminology, but it is a problem in the Kashmiri people itself. So this is the thing which mainly said. And next one is BSF detects 150-meter tunnel near the border in Jammu. So this is very important. And if you move forward here, Collegium recommends 2 names for the Supreme Court. So here you need to know what is the mandate of this Collegium and how this Collegium came to picture. And if you move forward in this news page, you can see news regarding avoid loss of lives in fire, heat wave. This is a thing which mainly said by our Prime Minister. So as you all know, we are mainly facing heat wave, okay, heat wave like events. So here, because of this, here we need to go for avoiding of loss of the life in the fire and even heat waves. And next one is over 1 lakh trees to be felled for coal mining in Odisha. So this is mainly going to affect the biodiversity in that area. And if you see next topic, it is regarding United Nations agency in talks with India on wheat production or procurement. So what happened? So because of this Russia-Ukraine crisis, the wheat, which is mainly the one of the important food, it is mainly taken by European countries. They had been decreased. They are not getting much imports. So now India, which is mainly having a chance mainly to increase its exports here. So because of this, United Nations World Food Program, which mainly said that it is in discussions with India for the procurement of the wheat, as several countries are mainly facing food security challenge here. And if you move forward here in this world page, there is one article important that is regarding in UK and Japan. They reached new defense agreement. And if you see in this business page, there is one article regarding this PMI Purchasing Managers Index. So I discussed this topic number of times. And one more article is tea exports is very important. So these are some important articles that appeared in this today's newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod's IS Academy and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.